With all the chaos of the WWE potential sale and the Vince McMahon hostile takeover and Stephanie resigning and all the chaos surrounding it, one company that stands to benefit from this whole situation could be AEW. At least that's what Matt Hardy thinks could happen on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Matt was talking about the situation. Everybody's talking about the situation. Every podcast, everybody and their mom, this is the hot button issue. This is the biggest news story in wrestling of our entire lifetime, and it's happening now. It's unfolding now. And, even with the rumors of the Khan family, AEW buying WWE, even if they don't, could they stand to benefit from a sale of WWE, or at least all the chaos and turmoil and drama and rumor and innuendo and just uneasiness in the WWE situation? Could AEW benefit from that? Well, we'll explore that in the different ways that it could. But first, check out this clip of Matt Hardy talking about this on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy.
So it's just going to be really interesting to see where WWE lies in 6 months from now. But as I said earlier, in chaos, there's opportunity. And I think just all this chaos going on, I think is going to be beneficial to Tony Khan and AEW more than anybody, because I think AEW has bought and earned a lot of goodwill with wrestling fans. And I think now with this WWE stuff going on, especially with the rumors that, oh my God, is Vince going to sell to Saudi Arabia, which is a very controversial, decision and discussion in itself. AEW benefits from that because I know we got AEW and they're very good to us. They're good to their fans, and they seem to be run by a good human being. And once again, I will, emphasize that Tony Khan is an amazing and phenomenal human being.
This was a very good episode, by the way. I don't know if you listen to the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Maybe you're not a Matt Hardy fan, so it doesn't interest you. I highly recommend, if you have not listened to this podcast, listen to the podcast. This episode specifically, it's a good starter point. But even in general, the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy is a very good podcast. Matt's a smart guy who's been around a long time, and he gets it. He's modern. He's up to date on things. He's got a very good take on a lot of things, and they talk very openly and honestly. And of course, his host, John Alba, I have just endless praise for John Alba and all the work that he does. He is also a fantastic host. He does the Strictly Business podcast with Eric Bischoff as well. John Alba, I got time for all day long. He's a good dude. In Matt Hardy. So enough plugs for that, but listen to this episode because it's fantastic. But, he's got a point there, Matt does, about AEW having the possibility to benefit from this whole situation. Even at the simplest of levels here, there's uneasiness with WWE, right? The roster, the talent. Remember when Vince left, it was ding dong, the witch is dead, da, 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 and everybody was like wanting to go fucking back to WWE now. Everybody that left, now everything's good over there, and Triple H is in charge, and now I want to go back over there and fuck this little AEW company. This was a good place to run and hide from Vince and still stay on TV and make a bunch of money. But I want to go back with Triple H. Well, not so fucking fast, right? It's turmoil. It's chaos. So at the simplest of levels, the very idea that talent is uneasy or don't know what to expect or what's going to happen next. Are they going to be working for the Saudis at some point? Is Vince going to take back over creative and fucking fire half the people because he's gearing up for a sale again? Or all of these things could be in play, and that's going to make talent pretty uneasy to want to jump ship or be as vocal backstage in AEW. Remember Tony was joking, everybody's being so nice to me lately, I wonder why. Yeah, I wonder why. This is going to continue. I think people are going to be more willing to kind of settle into AEW for a little bit and kind of see how things play out before they start being so vocal about wanting to jump back over to WWE. There's even jokes about some of these guys pulling the George Costanza, where after they quit, they just show up for work the next day and pretend it never happened. That's a possibility too. This shit's funny. It's funny to me. I enjoy all this very much. So in that sense, I think AEW has a lot to gain from this. And you know what? They have built up a lot of goodwill with the fans. They lost a lot of that, with the Punk situation, but I think they've done a good job of coming back from that, climbing back up. They're a new company, and I think, there's a lot of Fairweather fans, and there's definitely some really ridiculous tribalism out there where people are just going to be against AEW no matter what they do. But I think there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of support out there still for AEW. They've bought a lot of goodwill from the fans. And the more that WWE is in turmoil, the more bad will that they pass on to the fans, because the fans at the end of the day don't want to see Vince back in charge. I think that's fairly unanimous. There's some people who don't care. There's some people who want Vince in the seat, but I think the majority of wrestling fans think it's time for Vince to go, whether it's because of the scandals or it's because creative was just dog shit for so long that, despite their WWE tribalism fandom, that even they got to admit Vince shouldn't be there. So if Vince is the guy bullying his way back into positions of creative at some point, or if Triple H leaves, because Stephanie already left, and we talked about this earlier with the Palace Intrigue situation, obviously Triple H is going to be on the side of Steph. So how long is it before Triple H leaves WWE as well? He is not so he's not so rock solid in WWE anymore. Things aren't so stable that people want to jump over and work for him. Now it's all up in the air. It's all chaos. And now that's not only for the wrestlers themselves, but I think the fans it's going to cause more fans to flock over to AEW as they continue to just be stable, steady, reliable. And, to be quite frank, you can hate AEW all you want, but other than your just pure tribalism and your idiot markdom, Tony Khan's a mark with his dad's money playing wrestler promoter. Shut the fuck up. We have a company with by all accounts a really good, genuine dude, Tony Khan, an honest, a caring dude, a dude with morals and values, something that Vince has never had in his entire life. We have, all the money in the world to pay talent what they deserve to be paid. He's treating talent phenomenally. He's giving them time off when they want it, to heal, to rest, to go do this, that, or the other thing. By all accounts, he's just a fantastic guy to work for, to be around, to hang out with. There's people that are salty with him. Oh, he doesn't contact us, and just lets our contract run out, and it's fucking sour grapes. Doesn't matter. By all accounts, Tony Khan is running a pretty fucking good ship over there, right? The company is not in chaos. It's not, everybody knows who the boss is. It's not, I don't even know what's going on around here anymore. And none of that shit's happening. He's giving lots of people opportunities, lots of money being handed out. He's doing all the right things. He's continuing to grow. They're making considerable gains overseas. There's markets that they're doing better than WWE in overseas. That's a fact. AEW is no slouch, despite what the fans want to think, the tribal fans. So I think that's going to continue to buy them a lot of goodwill, and the more that WWE loses goodwill, I think a lot of that's going to start to trickle over to AEW. Not all of it, because of the hate and the tribalism and the nonsense and all that. But as long as AEW can kind of keep their nose clean and keep trudging forward, they're going to be just fine. And, there's no worry about the stability of them. They're going to get a new TV deal. That's just a fact. The way that the TV rights deals are working these days, they're going to get a bigger deal than they were before. There's still people that want to say, Turner could dump them at any time. It's just not going to happen. It's fantasy talk. Just kind of the way of the industry right now. Those live events, those live shows, those sports-like non-scripted contents come at a premium. It's something that's drawing people to watch. In AEW, despite their ratings struggling to get over 1 million, have been very consistent in both the demographic and the rating, and being, in the top conversation of top shows on all of TV every week. So there's just nothing there. AEW is solid, it's stable, and it's growing despite what anybody wants to say. And the more that WWE becomes unstable, the more that WWE will become weaker. And depending on who ends up buying it, who ends up taking over creative, what they do with the talent, all of these things can play into AEW significantly benefiting from all of this stuff. Now, there is a way that AEW could not benefit from this in ways, and that's if all of this turmoil causes WWE to lose market value or get a smaller TV deal or lose a TV deal. That could create the impression that that wrestling is not as big of a draw or as hot of a commodity or as valuable of a TV property as maybe once believed. And if WWE is struggling to hold a TV deal, which they won't, they're going to be fine unless the Saudis buy it. That's the only way that I see them having any issues here with their next rights deal. That could hurt AEW, right? If WWE is hurt in their next rights deal, that's going to trickle down and give the impression that AEW is not as valuable either. But WWE, if they get that big rights deal, which they will because Nick Khan's in charge, and that's what he does. He's the fucking man. And I believe their rights deal comes up before AEW's. They're going to get a nice big fat raise, and that's all Tony Khan's going to need to show his network that he needs a nice big fat raise as well, in which he will get. Not on the level of WWE, and maybe not significantly more. I'm not talking double or even 1.5 times what he's making now. But they're going to get a nice big bump up, and they're going to be able to continue for another 3 or 4 years, with the safety net of having that deal in place. So, yes, all of this looks really good for AEW. Plausible it could hurt AEW in the long run, but I don't see that happening. And I think Matt Hardy was dead on with this here. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next. Hey, thanks for checking out that clip. Don't forget to check out other clips here on the channel. And while you're there, throw a like, throw a subscribe. And don't forget to check out full episodes each and every Sunday of the Pro Wrestling Podcast.